Hey guys, it's me again. Um, my phone's charging, so that's why the views are. But since I was uploading part one, I had to make part two because I guess I just had a little bit more to say. But yeah, I can see why people don't like Resident Evil 6 because it's completely different. Like, if you played the originals and played this, they don't feel like they feel like two completely different games. Like maybe Capcom could have made like 4, 5, and 6, like, the action kinds, like those kinds, into like a side series, maybe? Maybe that would have been a better idea. I don't know. I thought of that, like, I just thought of that. Like, that could have been a better idea. Maybe if they made those like in a side game. That way we could have like Survival Horde Resident Evil and then like the action kind, please both people. That could be a good idea. But yeah, Capcom even said that like they think Survival Horror is dead. So that's why the Resident Evil games are making more actiony and more or less Survival Horror. But they are remembering their roots, like with Leon and stuff. And then like one chapter, like chapter 3 with Chris, that was pretty impressive too. Because that, like, when you fight a giant snake in chapter 3, and that reminded me of the big fight snake, or the fight scene with this giant snake and Ori 1 in the mansion. And but you can, like, they do remember their roots, but maybe if like the original crew from like Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, and like the guy that made Resident Evil was still there, maybe Resident Evil would still be Survival Horror. We never know. But maybe they will go back to Survival Horror one day, because that's what Resident Evil is all about, is Survival Horror. Although it was that one NES game, Sweet Home or whatever, for the Japanese Super Famicom, that kind of made the genre, like kind of made Survival Horror. But then basically Resident Evil actually really made it its own genre and gene. So in a way, Resident Evil is basically the grandfather to Survival Horror, and then the Japanese game for the Super Famicom, like the great grandfather. But I can see why people love it or hate this game, because I can see how it doesn't, like, it falls flat in its face with Survival Horror, but it's still a very fun, and at the very least, it's way better than Resident Evil 5. The melee combat is vastly improved. Its story, in my opinion, is way better. It's gripping. It keeps your attention, and it's all action packed. Like I said, it's like a big action adventure movie, and all these twists and turns. Like, you don't know, like, who's the bad guy, and all the other good stuff. Like, it actually feels like a Resident Evil plot. I mean, Resident Evil 6. I mean, the controls are really tight, to me, anyways. You can move and shoot. Finally, since 5 million people have been asking for that. You can do all, like, you can counter, like how, the counter system in RE3, you could actually counter now, but just better. You can roll and, like, move, like, when you're on the ground, you can move and roll, like, forward or backward, or move, like, roll sideways or forward, backwards to dodge attacks, etc. You can slide under objects. It's like the movability and the combat is like vastly improved. Like, that's where they really changed it, was the melee combat and then the movability. That's the first thing you notice, besides the freaking amazing graphics. I've noticed that. Overall, though, I do think this is a good game. I can see why people think this is, why they hate it, why they love it. But Resident Evil isn't Survival Horror anymore, and people gotta face the facts, And they don't like it, they just, don't play it. You don't have to, like, freaking hate it and then, hate the people that like it, or whatever. Because it's still a very good game, even though it isn't, true Resident Evil. But I think Resident Evil 6 is the closest we've ever gotten to old Resident Evil. Like 1, 2, and 3. Because 5 was nowhere near it. 4 had the atmosphere, but I think Resident Evil 6 does it better, especially in Leon's campaign. And I wish my dog would be quiet. Overall, I think it's a great game. I'm just saying all the hate it's getting. That's all. Man, Jake, shh. Quiet, man. But, let's see what else can I talk about. Like, it feels more Resident Evil than any of the Resident Evils than, 4, 5, well, before, but the story was kind of silly in 4. And 5 is about the stupid world domination plot. 6, plot-wise, felt way more Resident Evil than 5 did. Although I guess they kind of have the same plot, kind of. But, I don't know, it just felt more Resident Evil to me. And I can, with RE6, you can see why they went the action route, because the whole world gets infected with this new virus called the C virus. So, there's, no way you could be all sneaky and, conserve ammo and, like in the older Resident Evil games. Like, with the storyline, they put the storyline in, they had to make it more action and stuff. But maybe if they have, the original people, from Resident Evil, old ones, maybe it'll still be survival horror, you never know. And maybe one day they'll go back to survival horror, which I would love. But you never know, I guess. So, right now, I just gotta deal with it and either, stick with the Resident Evil as it evolves. Maybe in your eyes as a better franchise or a crappier franchise. Because they think it's going to Gears of War, Call of Duty, which I can see, how it is. But since the game market is flooded with action games, if they actually ever did go back to true survival horror like 1, 2, and 3, I think would do really well, since we don't really see any true survival horror games. Like the newest one I can think of just this generation was Downpour, like Silent Hill Downpour, which was great. It had bugs, but it was still a great game. Although the original Resident Evil creator is making a survival horror game called Zool or something. So we'll see how that plans out. And then we'll see if the survival horror market is really dead or not when that comes out. Either way, Resident Evil is either a love it or hate it kind of game. You either love it or you hate it. And if you don't want to play it, then you don't play it. And just don't bash it so much. It's still a great game. Just don't if you expect this game to play like Resident Evil 2, and then it doesn't. Well, it doesn't, because it hasn't been survival horror game since RE3, and most people don't understand that, or RE1 or 0, if you want to be technical. It hasn't been survival horror in forever, and it's just kind of funny that people want it back since they wanted more action. Like when survival horror flooded the markets in the 90s, now it's action games flooding now, so it's like the complete opposite. Now people want survival horror, not action games, which is kind of funny. So, but yeah, it's like you either play it or just don't play it and just don't hate it, because you can still play this game and maybe not think of it as like a Resident Evil game. Just think of it like as a fun action adventure co-op game. If you just think of it like that, it's this game co-op is really, really fun. But I just wanted to say one last bit about this RE6 controversy. So I'm just really sick of all the hate this game's getting, because it's still a really good game. But I can see where both sides are coming from. But anyways, but we do got the Resident Evil 2. If Capcom gets enough fan support, we do got the Resident Evil 2 remake, to look forward to. Which if they remake that into Resident Evil 6, I would absolutely hate it. If anything, I would love if they did like Resident Evil 1 for the GameCube. That would be sick. So you got that look to look forward to if you want like true survival horror games. But like I said, I can see both sides of the fences here. But my closing thing right here is either you either love it or you hate it. That's basically what Resident and if you hate it, just I don't know, just at least just try it because it's still a very good game, even if you just think of it like an action game. It's super fun as an action game, but if you think it's about horror, I can see why you don't like why it falls flat on his face. But it's still a good game. At least give it a chance. That's all I ask. Anyways, guys, I'll talk to you guys later. And sorry about this 2-part long video. I had to get this off my chest. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.